Thursday. I'm just gonna pull and make sure that my live pops up on the other side of the screen. So as you come in, say hello. You know the routine. I just want to make sure that I'm good to go on the other side of the screen. So if you are catching the replay, you can fast forward just a second or two while I go live. And it looks like I might be good to go. Yes, I am definitely in frame. So let's get started, my friends. Welcome back to another episode of Template Thursday with Tammy. This is episode 6, and today is February 9th at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you are catching me during that time frame, you have caught me live right here on YouTube. Come in, say hello, let me know where you're tuning in from, whether you're a first-time viewer or not. I always like to go back and reread comments, especially on the replays. So if you haven't caught me live and caught me on the replay, just pop in and say hello and let me know where you're tuning in from. Good morning, everybody. Hello, Chris. Good morning, my friends. Trudy Hill, good morning. Welcome in. And we are good to go for another episode of Template Thursday with Tammy. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Tammy Civello, and welcome to Cards by TLC. And I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator out of the San Francisco Bay Area. Good morning, Chris. How are you today? Like I said, this is episode 6 of Template Thursday with Tammy, where I bring you inspiration of using one template 2 ways for 2 different looks. I am getting ready to design online masculine cards for an upcoming birthday card class. So I thought it would be kind of fun to do a bonus jump start with you, playing with some ideas. That way my class participants have a couple of extra bonus ideas. So today's template, let's go ahead and look at that. This is today's template. Again, one template, 2 ways. I always do a vertical and a horizontal. Good morning, Patty. Welcome in. And so we are doing 2 masculine cards again. We are doing a vertical and a horizontal. Absolutely loved the way that this turned out. I am actually using the Walk of Nature designer paper. Let me get this out of the way so we could focus on the prettiness. Let's put this over here. So the Walk of Nature designer paper, it is perfect for that masculine birthday card. Like I said, I'm kind of just getting some extra bonus ideas for my class participants. Next month I'm going to be for my April class, I'm going to be doing a masculine card class, so birthday card class. So this is perfect. But even if you're a blue-green lover like me, I absolutely love this paper. It is a great thinking of you, great sympathy card as well. The sentiment, I know, isn't this paper so pretty? It's just like when it's laid out like this, I really am so glad I'm doing these samplers. And bonus, if you do take a class with me, you get whatever sampler or whatever DSP we're using. I will create a sampler for you for free. So that is a special thank you in my classes. So again, we are using the Nature Walk designer paper. The sentiment is actually a product of the month from January. I absolutely love the sentiments in this. Now, if you're not familiar with what product of the month is, back in December, Stampin' Up launched a product of the month program where with a $75 or more purchase, you can grab the current or even past months for just $5. Now, here's the little hiccup. You can only get one item. You can only get one of that item. And it is while supplies last, so grab it while you can. Good news is we are only on our 3rd month. And good news is that there are all 3 items still available. So in December, they launched a True Blue Florals designer paper. I think I'm going to play with some projects. I think I'm going to play with some items on Sunday with that. I'm not sure, but this product of the month is amazing. And I feel like because all items are still available, it's not getting the love that it needs. So we need to give it some more love. So we're definitely using this sentiment today. And that was the January. And then for February this month, product of the month, it is Painted Illusions designer paper. My paper is on its way. So we'll be playing with that as well. But with a $75 or more purchase, you get any of the product of the month items for $5. But guys, free shipping. We're on free shipping yesterday, today, and tomorrow with orders of $75 or more. So this is the perfect time to not only stock up on your crafting supplies and get your free shipping, but you can choose your product of the month for $5. So you got kind of like a double bonus going on there. So I'm so excited. This is a really good week to be stocking up on your crafting supplies. So let's go ahead and get started. I am also using from the Petals of Beauty dies. I'm using this leaf. I obviously needed to use some sort of leaf or floral or something behind the thing. It just needed something, and I didn't have any matching current embellishments. I need to update my embellishments and pull out the retired ones because every one that I wanted to use was retired. So I need to up my game on my embellishments, and so I just pulled this leaf out of the Petals of Beauty bundle. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me get this out of the way, that out of the way. And like I said, we're going to start off with our vertical orientation of our card. And I am using, for my card base, I am using Early Espresso. And this is a 5.5 by 8.5. And then we have our Nature Walk designer paper. So this pattern is really perfect for the background, I find. It's a 4 by 5.25 piece. And then for our inside piece, I thought it would be fun. It's light enough that you could even write your sentiment in there, stamp a sentiment in there. I love this pattern. And I know Patty here in the chat absolutely loves the grid pattern. And I'm starting to love it too. So I thought I would use that for the inside. And then for our next layer, which is 2.5 by 5, again, all of these sizes and dimensions will be on my blog post tomorrow at Cards by TLC, so you can head over there. Grid paper equals happiness, absolutely. But before we laid this pattern down, I have a 1 by 4 of that grid paper that's going to go behind that. And then we have a 2.5 by 5 inch piece of designer paper there. And then I took this pattern and grabbed that 3 by 3. And then I used from the Stylish Shapes dies. You know I love my Stylish Shapes dies. I'm using the second to the largest, which is about a 2.5 inch circle. So that is for our sentiment. And then again, I used that same paper and I cut that leaf out. So we are good to go. These are going to come together really quickly. I just wanted to focus on and playing with like some extra bonus projects for my upcoming masculine class. So let's go ahead and put our insert inside the card. Absolutely. Love this paper. So pretty. And then our front panel piece. Yeah, I definitely need to do more projects with the product of the month. I've been falling a little behind after the first of the year. So definitely need to start giving that product of the month some love because that is a really good deal. And at first, I was not a huge fan of the current product of the month designer paper. Let me just show you again. This Painted Illusions. At first, all of it was like a bit much to me, but if you broke down the pieces, used strips, use it behind background stuff, and played with it more, and I know Patty here in the chat did some amazing projects with this. I need to play with that for definitely more. What glue are you using? Was that a typo, Rochelle? Glue, maybe? What glue am I using? I think you meant glue. So I use both this Stampin' Seal. It's a two-sided adhesive, and it's dry, so it's not liquid. But for the glue is the liquid glue multi-purpose. No, that's okay. Is the liquid glue multi-purpose. If this is the one that you're referring to, they're both in my online store. And it's great glue, in my opinion. Just a little bit goes a long way. And I know Jeff will probably be doing the roller one. This is also in my online store. It's called Stampin' Seal. And then you can also purchase refills. So you would purchase the full casing, and then this pops off, and it has these refills that go in and out. And they're really easy to do. And it's a really nice, smooth adhesive. You just angle it down and just slightly press down, and you just kind of want to do kind of like a check mark as you pull it off. And this is 3x3. And then let's go ahead and do our stamping of our sentiments. This is one solid stamp. Perfect. Good. If you need help, Rochelle, we could talk definitely after. So here is the happy birthday. It's a one solid stamp. So I'm going to do half and half on my ink. Make sure I have my chamois off there to clean. So I'm just going to come in just a little bit. There's a good spacing in between the happy birthday, which is perfect for doing half inking on. So happy. Want to make sure I clean my thing with my chamois. Yes, it cleans it off really, really nicely. I know it's not pretty, but it's a great cleaner. Birthday. I think I need to get a little bit more ink on that. Happy birthday. Clean that off. And then I am going to lay this down, but I'm going to hold it down with some adhesive really quick. I'm just going to do some adhesive right there to hold down my leaf because it is very thin. You can use self-adhesive sheets, and if you're using this more on a regular card instead of a background piece, you can use the self-adhesive sheets that you put on and peel off like stickers, or you can do dots of glue. I'm just using this as a background of my circle, so I'm just going to hold that down. That looks pretty good. Maybe at a different angle. Hang on, I want to kind of, I'm going to see where that, I want it more of an angle like that. I'm going to grab that up, and then I'm going to take my favorite Stampin' dimensional sheets and pop that baby up. And I really wish I had some current embellishments, but I have some on the way, so I'll be adding a embellishment to that. So there is our first orientation of our card. Great masculine birthday card. So let's go ahead and move on to the, did I say horizontal? I meant vertical. I don't know if I said horizontal or if I said vertical. I meant vertical if I didn't say vertical. Now we're going to move on to the horizontal orientation of the card. Again, same sizes and dimensions, just rotating that orientation from vertical to horizontal. So let's go ahead and do that. Again, we are starting with the Early Espresso card base, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. We have our insert piece of our little grid paper at 4 by 5 1/4. I kind of wish I had a full pack of this. This paper has been one of my favorites. I love, this is one that I absolutely love both sides. So I love the antique look of the script, but I also love the grid paper side of it. Like I said, it's perfect. And it even has the natural lines for you to write on your grid paper. The paper is still available. It's called Walk of Nature. Or I'm sorry, Nature Walk of Nature. It's called Nature Walk, and it's item number 166912. I know, they're so pretty. You are so welcome. Okay. Again, a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece. I'm gonna crease that edge just a little bit more so it lays more flat. I mean, even that, to me, this reminds me of that old school notebook paper, and I mean, stuff like that. I love this, and I really think my love for it became as I grew up. When I was growing up, my mom worked in an office supply store, and I was obsessed with office supplies. I still am obsessed with office supplies. And then hanging out with my dear friend Patty and her love of grid paper and graphene and all of that, she's rubbing off on me between flowers and grid paper. Again, a 1 by 4 inch piece of, and you see me going back and forth between alternating adhesives. I do that. It's whatever I grab. And then I changed the orientation to go by 2.5 by 5 because it changed it up. So it did change. I did change the way I cut it a little differently because it's directional paper, right? Me too, Patty. I was around office supplies pretty much my whole childhood because, like I said, my mom was a bookkeeper for an office supply company and printing company. And in elementary school, I would get my notepads like personalized. So I would work on creating personalized notepads and work on that. And I think my cousin Rochelle is here in the chat, and I know she remembers that. Again, another grid. And then this is our 3 by 3 inch square. And then we have our circle that we need to stamp our sentiment. We have our happy, stamping halfway. Clean that off. And then our birthday. And these are so quick and easy to mass produce. Okay. Let's lay this down and make sure we clear our little card front. And then our foam adhesive sheets. I just cut them into little pieces. Makes life a lot easier. Okay, there we have it, my friends. There are our two. One template, 2 ways, 2 different looks. And it's a great jumping off piece. And what I love about this script paper is you could see no piece is alike. It's like an ombre look. So you have like the way it's cut, depending on where it's at on the sheet. It's perfect. I love this paper. I'm obsessed with this paper. So that is it for me today. Thank you guys for joining me for another Template Thursday. Again, these layouts and free downloads will be on my blog tomorrow, February 20th at cardsbytlc. If you haven't head over there, please be sure you head over there, subscribe to my blog anytime I upload a blog or upload a video. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button and notification. I keep getting orientation. Notification bell to all so you get notified every time I go live. But again, thank you all for joining me. Don't forget about free shipping. Again, it's today and tomorrow of any purchase of $75 or more. And then for that free product of the month, you can get the sentiments from the Fabulous Scenes. So thank you all for joining me, and I will see you all Sunday for more creative fun. Bye, everyone.